Well, that was the Ministry of External Affairs' official briefing of the visit of the President of the United Arab Emirates, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, His Highness, to India. And it was a brief 3-hour visit, mind you, and it was very substantive, is what the Foreign Secretary, Vikram Misri, said. Prime Minister Modi received the UAE President at the airport. The UAE President was accompanied by a high-level delegation. And some of the key outcomes of this visit are a letter of intent on strategic defense partnership, and then a letter of intent on space collaboration. So we're getting these visuals also from, we know that the UAE President has left for the UAE. These were visits, these are visuals that came in a little earlier of his meeting with the Prime Minister. These visuals we have just received and we are playing out for you. We did also receive we were watching the press conference of the Ministry of External Affairs, which put the entire brief visit of 3 hours into perspective. This is the one-on-one meeting that Prime Minister Narendra Modi had with His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Al Nahyan a little earlier. Prime Minister meeting this high-level delegation, which actually consists a large number of royalty from the other Emirates as well, Dubai and Sharjah. So we know that the UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan is from Abu Dhabi. The royal families of Dubai also part of this meeting. Here he is meeting Prime Minister's delegation, ministers of the Cabinet of India. And these are some of the agreements that were signed in energy and other sectors. Letter of intent in space cooperation, letter of intent in strategic defense partnership, UAE's participation in the investment in Gujarat's Doordarshan greenfield port, railways, energy infrastructure, long-term agreement on energy partnership. The UAE is the second largest supplier of LNG in India. Food safety and technical requirements, these were also signed, these agreements. And they're looking at new opportunities on civil nuclear cooperation in the light of the Shanti Act. AI has been identified as a priority area of cooperation. A supercomputing cluster also will be established in India with the UAE's help. And a relatively new area of cooperation is a data embassy going to be set up. So a lot of focus on new frontiers of technology, taking cooperation in the strategic partnership to the next level. Prime Minister himself having gone to greet and receive the visiting dignitary when he arrived at the airport, the President of the United Arab Emirates, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, to India. The UAE is home to a vast number of Indians, about 4 million of them. They participate in India's growth story by sending large amount of remittances back to India, and also participate in the development of the UAE by being involved with various sectors and jobs. These were visuals that we received a short while ago at the conclusion of this short but substantive visit of 3 hours of the President of the United Arab Emirates, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, to India. We are continuing to play out visuals of the warmth of the greetings between the two leaders, the principals of the two countries, Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, His Highness, who is the President of the United Arab Emirates, and his short visit to India, which lasted for 3 hours. We are joined by Jessica Taneja, who was at that press briefing a short while ago. Jessica, so put into context the key outcomes of this visit.
Well, one of the key outcomes, as you heard from the Foreign Secretary, Vikram Misri, just a short while ago, was the letter of intent when it comes to potential defense, strategic defense agreement, and that something to that effect will be, we'll be getting details on that in some time. But that is one of the key outcomes. And if you look at the other, of course, is the huge trade component. UAE is one of our largest trading partners as well. You remember we had the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement that had facilitated, zero duty exports from India to the United States and United Arab Emirates, and vice versa. And that certainly has given momentum to this relationship. And UAE also being one of India's most important partners in West Asia. And as you heard just a short while ago from the presser, there was also mention of the two leaders discussing pressing issues in the region and the developments taking place, especially when you talk about the situation in Iran in just a few days ago, although everyone is still assessing the situation there at that point. And also at this time, the kind of relationship that India and the United Arab Emirates have had in the last many years. There was a review of a lot of partnerships that are already in existence, and also collaboration in the space of artificial intelligence, as well as space and nuclear tech, as well as potential exchange of nuclear tech and nuclear energy. So those aspects are also being explored now with UAE, which has been in the case in the past, but looking at more sectors than just energy. And if you talk about energy, India is looking at importing about 0.5 billion metric tons of LNG starting from 2020. That also is another important component of the relationship, Mark.
Indeed. And one final question about also the Indian population in the UAE. It's about 4.3 million, the second largest in the world of Indians, after Indians living in the United States. And what did the Foreign Secretary say about this particular component of the relationship?
Well, he did stress that, people-to-people ties are very important, and also a potential culture center that we're going to see in Abu Dhabi. And, the presence of the Indian diaspora and Indians working in the UAE is certainly an important part of the relationship between the two, given the kind of trade flows that also is facilitated by Indian companies, and also UAE investment in India, which is also significant. Yes. And looking at more investments in Dholera, especially when it comes to air and rail infrastructure, there's a lot moving in that direction, and also rests a lot on the millions that are living in UAE at this point.
Right.
Mark.
We leave it there. Thank you very much, Jessica Taneja, for putting that into context for us. And that's all we have in this edition of DD India Live. Let's know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, get the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS platforms. You can scan the QR code as well and download it now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. My name is Mark Lynn from all of us here in Delhi. Thank you very much for watching DD India News. DD India Live. Thanks very much for watching. Namaskar.